That was absolutely torturous. I can't think of any other word that describes the NFC Championship game because that was torture. Just oh man, it was just so close. Um, Before we get started with this, I just want to give props to Colin Kaepernick. I was not expecting him to play like that, to run like that. Um, I got to also give props to the 49ers offensive line. We got to Kaepernick. It wasn't very often. The Seahawks got to him, but it wasn't very often. But uh, like I said, this game was going to go. Um, sorry. This game was going to go two ways. One, a blowout for the Seahawks. Number two, it was going to come down to who was going to control the clock, who had timeouts, and who was going to make. I didn't say this, but I'll also include who was going to make the big play and who was going to get the big stop. I mean, just oh wow, it just the Seahawks began playing. I actually got off work from my second job from officiating for Seattle Parks and Rec, and when I heard the Seahawks fumbled the first snap of the game, I just thought, oh no, here we go. There's going to be a collapse. The Niners are going to do this. They're going to do that, and when they jumped out 10-0, I got really worried, and then things slowly but surely began to go back into the Seahawks' favor. Just a very, very, very close game, and it was nail biter. I was on the edge of my seat throughout the entire time when I got a chance to watch it. I was glued to the radio. Just both teams played incredibly well. And I know Colin Kaepernick turned the ball over 3 times, but you got to give him credit for having his best game in Seattle. I mean, he almost solved his Seattle woes in that game. Great play for the last game. My boy Richard Sherman. You know, that tip that caused the interception. And for those of you who are angry at Richard Sherman already for his outlash with Aaron Andrews at the end of the game, number one, he was pumped up. Number two, that's what a trash talker does. And number three, if you got a problem with Richard Sherman trash talking, you got to look at his background because he grew up in L.A. His father was a garbage man. Woke up every single morning to drive a truck. And he ends up going to Stanford. So he is not only a trash talker, but he is articulate. And not only that, he speaks with his mouth and he speaks with what he does on the field. But man alive. I thought the Hawks, good game by Doug Baldwin. He just exploded. It almost was as if we had one receiver throughout that entire game. I mean, Golden Tate got a couple catches and got a couple kickoff returns, but for the most part, I mean, it was Doug Baldwin's show. I mean, he stepped up, considering the fact we don't have Percy Harvin, we don't have Sidney Rice, and I know I said that we've won the majority of the season without those two guys, but pretty much our depth at the receiver core is kind of thin, regardless if I want it to or want to believe it or not. But Doug Baldwin, over 100 yards passing, huge catch to set up a field goal to at least get the Seahawks points on the board toward the end of the first half. Jermaine Kearse, former Washington Husky, let's go Dogs, by the way. He played a heck of a game, a sick catch in the end zone, to give the Hawks the lead late in the game. Marshawn Lynch was Marshawn Lynch. When he got the ball, it counted. I thought there were some there could have been some questionable calls, but on both sides, at the end of the day, the difference is a tipped ball in the end zone, courtesy of Richard Sherman. Oh, man. Seahawks win 23-17, and everybody's going nuts right now. I mean, frankly, if I didn't have to work tomorrow, I'd be in downtown Seattle. I had to drive from West Seattle to North Seattle. I was able to drive right by CenturyLink Field, and everyone's cheering. It's a party tonight. Everybody's cheering. People are honking their horns right now. People are, screaming, "Go Seahawks!" The bars around Pioneer Square are actually thinking, "Hey, maybe we should shut down for the night." But man, it is great. I mean, it's great. And I, as a 12th man, I know I've been a little different this season compared to everybody else. Everyone else says, "Yeah, we're gonna go to Super Bowl. We're gonna do it." No, 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 no. When the Seahawks started getting national coverage, even before the season began, that's when I got nervous. I got nervous. I was just thinking, man, there's all this hype for us to go there, and possibly win it. But there's all this hype to potentially go back to the Super Bowl and be back there for the first time in 8 years. And I just said, all right, I'm taking this 1 week at a time. I'm taking it 1 week at a time. People ask me, who do I think is going to, do I think the Seahawks they're going to go to the Super Bowl? I couldn't say it. I couldn't say it. I didn't want it. I didn't want to jinx it. I didn't want it. I remember the one time I took a road trip to Eastern Washington, and my friend said, "Hey, so what do you think about Seahawks going to the Super Bowl?" I said, "What Super Bowl? We got the Rams coming up next week." And it was during the Monday night game against the Rams, but just to finally go back, I feel so relieved right now. I feel so relieved. I really do. I'm going to take this week to celebrate and to just enjoy us going back to the big dance. And then the following week, I'll start getting into the whole, okay, let's come back down to earth. We still got one more game, and we haven't accomplished, the ultimate goal, which is to hoist that Lombardi trophy. But I feel very relieved. I mean, the last time the Seahawks were in the Super Bowl, I was in Ellensburg, as I said before. And basically what happened is they clinched it, and then everybody went back to their dorm room and did homework or did whatever they needed to do to be successful for the upcoming day. That's basically what happened. It was not like this. It was not like this. And to be here while this is happening, it's wonderful. If we win it, I'll talk more about what Seattle fans have had to deal with in recent years. But I'm relieved. I am relieved. I'm so relieved right now. And as much as I hate the Niners, I got to give them props. I mean, they played a heck of a game. They're one play away from going to the Super Bowl. I mean, end story. I'm not going to say either team got lucky, because either team could have won that game. Either team could have won. Nobody felt safe. So let's go Hawks. And looks like I'll be doing a Super Bowl preview with my team in it. I'll give stats and that type of deal in my next video. But for now, I'm just gonna relax. I'm just gonna relax and enjoy the moment. I'm just gonna soak it all in. That's actually one thing that they talked about on the radio before the NFC Championship game. They talked about how individuals didn't soak it all in. We were just kind of. There was this, okay, oh my God, we're going to the Super Bowl, but there was also okay, I'm happy we just got there. It was our first Super Bowl. Now, since we've been there before, we know what it's about. We know it's tough, and it's going to be tough in New Jersey in the cold against Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos, and we're not going to have necessarily the home field advantage anymore. But it feels, I'm just going to soak it all in. I'm just going to soak it all in. So, all right, we'll talk to you later. Go Hawks. Again, Seattle wins 23-17 over the San Francisco 49ers. And I guess the last thing I have to say is goodbye, Jim Harbaugh. All right, I'll talk to you all later. Go Hawks.